You know, dear, I've been thinking about something a lot lately. I look at our kids, the way they interact, the way they handle disappointment, how they react to stirs, and I realize that emotional intelligence isn't just something nice to have. It's essential. What scares me a little is how distracted the world around them has become. Every day, they're surrounded by screens, short-form content, endless notifications, background noise, and digital entertainment. All of that is stealing away something subtle, their ability to process emotions. When we were growing up, life was slower. We had long moments of silence, of daydreaming, of playing with sticks and dirt, of talking with adults and hearing stories. But our children, they're growing up with instant answers, quick dopamine hits, and limited emotional reflection. That's why I feel strongly, now more than ever, we have to intentionally raise them to be emotionally intelligent. Because if we don't, the world will teach them emotional avoidance. The world will teach them to suppress, to scroll past their pain, to numb instead of feel. And when I say emotional intelligence, I mean teaching them how to understand what they feel and why, express those feelings in a healthy way, manage difficult emotions like anger and frustration, show empathy to others, and develop resilience in the face of challenges. And Joy, the truth is, I'm not just saying this for our kids, I'm saying it for ourselves too. Because raising emotionally intelligent children begins with us becoming emotionally intelligent adults. I've made mistakes. There have been days when I was so caught up in work, or distracted by my phone, or overwhelmed by responsibilities, that I didn't notice when one of the kids was hurting. I saw the behavior, but I didn't see the emotion underneath it. And that's what emotional intelligence invites us to do. It teaches us to look beyond the behavior and see the need behind it. Is this tantrum really about the spilled milk, or is it about feeling unseen? Is this teenage silence about attitude, or is it about fear of rejection? Our kids need to know that it's okay to feel. That emotions are not dangerous or embarrassing. That they can say, I'm scared, or I'm frustrated, or I need help, without being shut down. That doesn't mean letting go of discipline or boundaries, not at all. It means disciplining with understanding, guiding with empathy, and setting boundaries with love. And most of all, it means listening more and fixing less. Sometimes, our children don't need solutions, they just need someone to sit beside their feelings without rushing them to move on. So yes, Joy. I believe our generation of parents has a special mission. We're not just raising healthy kids, we're raising emotionally aware human beings in a distracted world. And to do that, we have to slow down, tune in, and walk with them, not just around them.
Yeah. My dear. Everything you just said resonates so deeply with me. And I'm glad you said it the way you did, because you captured what I've been feeling but couldn't quite put into words. As a mother, I watch our children closely. I see when their shoulders droop, when they hesitate to speak, when their eyes carry more than their words reveal. And I've come to realize that what our children crave most isn't more entertainment. It's emotional safety. You're absolutely right, the world is noisy. There is so much stimulation, so much pressure to be okay all the time, to keep up with school, activities, even social appearances. But what they really need is space. Space to feel, to be heard, to make sense of what's going on inside. I've had moments when one of our kids would act out, and my first instinct, honestly, was to correct the behavior. Don't speak like that, or why are you crying over something so small? But I'm learning to pause and ask, what are you really feeling underneath all of this? And when I do that, when I look past the behavior and into their heart, I see something incredible, children who want to be understood, not just managed. You know, David, I think that's the shift our generation of parents needs to make. We need to move from control to connection. From just correcting to truly coaching our children through their emotions. That means sitting quietly when they're angry instead of yelling over them. Asking open-ended questions instead of giving quick answers. Letting them cry, and being okay with that discomfort, instead of silencing it because we don't know how to deal with it ourselves. And like you said, we have to lead by example. If our children never see us apologize, how will they learn humility? If they never see us express joy, sadness, or fear in a healthy way, how will they know it's okay to feel those things? We have to normalize emotion. We have to show them that emotional strength is not about hiding pain, it's about acknowledging it, processing it, and moving forward with clarity and courage. And David, I love what you said about listening more and fixing less. That's so powerful. Sometimes when our kids talk to us, they're not asking us to solve anything. They just want us to see them. And when we do that, truly see them, we give them the confidence to explore their own emotions without fear. That's what I want for our kids. Not just to succeed in school or sports or whatever society says is winning. I want them to walk through life with an inner compass. A deep emotional awareness. A resilience that allows them to weather storms, relate to others, and stay connected to who they truly are.
All right. I think we've laid a solid foundation. We've talked about the need to slow down and be emotionally present for our children in a world that keeps speeding up. But let's go deeper now. Let's talk about how we help our children develop emotional intelligence, starting with something simple but absolutely essential, helping them recognize and name their emotions. This might sound small, but it's actually huge. One of the reasons so many kids act out, shut down, or withdraw is because they don't have the language to describe what they're feeling. They feel something big, like frustration, sadness, anxiety, jealousy, but if all they can say is, I'm mad or I don't know, it traps them. When a child can't name their feelings, they can't process them. And I get it, even we as adults sometimes struggle with this. We'll say we're tired when really, we're overwhelmed. We'll say we're fine when really, we're hurt. Imagine how confusing it must be for a child who's still learning what all these emotions even mean. So, as parents, we have to become emotional translators. We have to help our kids connect the dots between what's happening around them and what's happening inside them. And this starts in the little moments. Like when our son gets angry because he lost the game, instead of just saying calm down, we can say, it looks like you're frustrated because you wanted to win. Or when our daughter is quiet after school, instead of letting her slip away into her room, we gently ask, you seem a little down. Did something happen today that made you feel sad? By naming emotions for them, without judgment, we're giving them a gift. We're teaching them that it's okay to feel, and that those feelings have names. And over time, they begin to develop their own emotional vocabulary. They begin to say things like, I'm nervous about the test, or I felt embarrassed when I got that answer wrong. And joy, the key here is that we're not fixing the feeling. We're labeling it, welcoming it, and sitting with it. We can also use stories, books, or even our own lives to build that emotional language. When we watch a movie, we can pause and say, how do you think that character felt when that happened? When we make a mistake, we can say, I felt ashamed today at work, and I'm trying to learn from it. That openness gives our children permission to explore their own feelings without shame. Because when a child can name their emotions, they gain power over them. The emotion no longer controls them, they begin to understand it, and then manage it. And that's the foundation for emotional maturity.
That is such a powerful point, and I love the phrase you used, emotional translator. Because that's exactly what we become when our children are still learning the emotional language of life. And you're right, naming emotions is not just a communication tool. It's a coping tool. It turns confusion into clarity. I've noticed that when we consistently name and reflect emotions with our kids, their reactions start to change. Instead of having outbursts, they begin to pause. They start coming to us and saying things like, Mom, I'm feeling really nervous about the class presentation tomorrow. That's progress. That's emotional growth. And you know what else? This skill, the ability to recognize and name emotions, is also deeply tied to empathy. When children can name their own emotions, they begin to recognize those emotions in others. A child who understands what it feels like to be disappointed can comfort a friend who didn't get picked for the team. A child who knows how to express "I'm feeling left out" will grow into an adult who's emotionally self-aware and able to navigate relationships with care. So this small step, teaching our kids to name emotions, is actually one of the most foundational things we can do. One thing I like to do, especially with our younger ones, is to use emotion charts. We keep a simple one on the fridge. It has pictures and names of different feelings like angry, happy, tired, lonely, scared, excited, and worried. Sometimes when words fail, visuals help. We also do a quick emotional check-in during bedtime routines. I'll ask, "What was the best feeling you had today? And what was the hardest feeling?" That gives them a rhythm, an emotional rhythm, to start tuning into what's happening inside. And like you said, David, it all comes down to presence. We have to be emotionally present in their little world, especially in the moments when it feels like nothing major is going on. Because often, that's when they open up the most. So yes, let's keep helping our children name their emotions, without fear, without shame, and without pressure to fix it quickly. Let's give them the words they need to understand themselves and connect with the world around them. That's how emotional intelligence grows, one small, a moment at a time.